It's Joe and Jill's decision. We all said that, like a mantra, as if we'd all been hypnotized. Was it grace or was it recklessness? In retrospect, I think it was recklessness. I often learn that the president's staff was adding fuel to negative narratives that sprang up around me. When the stories were unfair or inaccurate, the president's inner circle seemed fine with it.
Well,
that is from Kamala Harris's new book.
Yeah.
But
I was just going to say, so will he or who wants to take the jump ball here?
John Scarborough and Mika Bazooka have been stunned into silence while sitting on the Morning John. They cannot believe the civil war that was almost started yesterday at Woke United Methodist. And believe me, the Civil War is coming. There has been a brief pause in it between John Biden and Cam Harris because there is something much more important to be focused on right now. I haven't, and I will not forget about Charlie Kirk, but with everyone talking about it, and rightfully so, with countless people losing their jobs today for their vile celebrations of the death of Charlie Kirk, Uncle Casey actually knows someone in NBA media who was rightfully fired today for his absolutely disgusting remarks. But with everyone else talking about it, I felt like we could use a temporary distraction. With normal people mourning the loss of Charlie Kirk, I wanted to take your mind off of it just for a brief moment. 12 to 15 minutes to briefly entertain you. And what could be more entertaining than a brewing war between our former fearless leader, Johnny B. Biden, and his pretend vice president, cackling Cam Harris? I'll be honest with you, I miss Johnny B and cackling Cam. Obviously, I don't want them anywhere near the White House or any other position of power, whether it's Congress or managing the baristas at Starbucks. I don't want John or Cam occupying any position of authority. But as a content creator, I miss John Biden and Cam Harris. This dynamic duo, they were comedy gold. Hell, if the trio of huge embarrassing failures hosting late night dumps, if Stevie Colbert had utilized the free material provided by John Biden, Stevie would still have a job. During their time in the White House, John Biden and Cam Harris presented a united front. They pretended to be friends. I love you, you love me, I'll make you pretend VP. You're unqualified and you represent diversity. I believe in equity. Over the last 4 years, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were besties. But as is often the case, friendships are not designed to last forever. Here in a couple of weeks, Cam Harris will be releasing her memoir. As you guys know, Jamel Hill was the last deacon at Woke United Methodist to release a memoir. There were so few copies sold, climate activists ended up turning the pages back into trees. Earlier this week, Cam provided an excerpt of her soon-to-be-released tour to The Atlantic. Hey guys, it's me, Cammy! Check out a sneak peek of my new book, 107 Days of Failure. Obviously, the excerpt was released to generate interest and hopefully eclipse Jamel Hill's book sales. Which should be all that difficult since Jamel Hill's memoir was so boring she fell asleep while writing her own life story. Unfortunately for Cam Harris, interest was not the only thing generated when the excerpt was released. She also generated plenty of outrage as the Biden family appears ready to declare war on Cam Harris. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at Casey_BTL84. So I can get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at Chapter. One thing most people don't realize until it's too late, dealing with Medicare can be an overwhelming experience. Countless plans, rules, penalties. Fortunately, though, there is help available, and that's where Chapter steps in. Chapter is an advocate for seniors to help you choose the right plan for your needs. Chapter is completely independent, which means they're only incentivized to find the right plan for you. Uncle Casey actually tested out their services. My mom turned 65 back in January. Now, both my parents, they already had insurance plans, but had mom call Chapter anyway. Long story short, Chapter told my parents that they already had the best plan available. There was no need for them to change. That is the type of honest service that Chapter provides. Look at it like this. If you were wrongfully sued, you're not going to go to court without your lawyer, right? So why would you deal with the hassle, the confusion of Medicare without an advisor in your corner? Even if you already have coverage, Chapter might be able to find you a better plan. You literally have nothing to lose. It's free. So call today, 510-279-3616. Have Chapter find the right plan for you. Headline at Axios: Biden world explodes at Cam Harris' new book. If Charlie Kirk were still with us, this conflict between Cam Harris and John Biden, this would have been the leading story throughout the mainstream media. I'm sure John Biden feels betrayed. Think about it. 5 years ago, Joe Biden was the nominee for president. There were plenty of candidates to choose from for vice president. For example, John could have chosen his lifelong friend, Liz Warren. This would have been a triumphant moment for Liz. For the first time in centuries, she would be able to take back the White House from the evil colonizers and return the land to Squanto. John Biden could have chosen Susan Rice. Since he was looking for a pretend vice president, Johnny B should have chosen Stacey Abrams. For the better part of a decade, Abe has been touring the country pretending to be the governor of Georgia. If you're looking for a pretender, it doesn't get much better than Stacey Abrams. And even if you don't pick her, she's going to pretend to have the job anyway. Ultimately, of all the diversity candidates at his disposal, John Biden chose Cam Harris. And how does she repay him? How does she express her gratitude? How does she thank John Biden for making her a star? She releases a memoir where she accuses him of being reckless for wanting to hold on to the job that he was elected for. Cam Harris insinuated that Democrats had been hypnotized by the power of Biden. Everyone kept saying it was John and pretend Dr. Jill's decision as to whether he would run for re-election. As a pretender myself, I sympathize with the pretend doctor, but I didn't understand it. Why are we following orders? Why have we been hypnotized into believing that John Biden is best for the country? I'm what's best for America. I created the heavens and the earth. I'm Cam Harris. Let me ask you something. Who has ever been hypnotized by the charisma of Joe Biden? If she had said this about Barack Obama, I'd believe it. But John Biden? This dude has the charisma of a wet fart that's well on its way to becoming the drizzling shits. The Biden camp responded to Cam's claims with a blistering response. Let's just be honest here. Vice President Harris was simply not good at her job. Yeah, no shit. Matter of fact, that's the nice way of putting it. A more appropriate description would be Cam Harris was an unqualified disaster. Quick, name one positive contribution that Cam Harris made as vice president. Name one thing she accomplished. Hell, just name something that you remember. The only thing I remember about Cam Harris as vice president was her horrifying tenure as the border czar. While the Federal Reserve was printing money, Cam was printing invitations to the Butt Bongo Festival. She was sending invitations to America all over the world. Sanchez in Mexico City, Gomez in Guatemala, Mahmoud in Beirut. Everyone was invited to the party. Cam was trying to turn America into Great Britain. And thank God the Trumper stepped in to clean up the mess that she created. In her memoir, Cam also complained that Joe Biden barely mentioned her when he was stepping down. Speech that he gave was around 11 minutes, and John Biden mentioned Cam Harris once towards the end of the speech. My fellow Americans, it's I, your fearless leader. I wanted to let you know that I will not be running for re-election. I'm proud to announce that my replacement loser is going to be... Who's replacing me? Cam Harris, sir. Cam? Are you kidding me? She once got confused trying to tie shoelaces on a pair of sandals. You want her running the country? Cam also accused Johnny B of deliberately fueling attacks against her in the media. Cam was upset because conservative media had labeled her a DEI hire, a diversity hire, and John Biden refused to defend her. What was he supposed to do? Was he supposed to say that you weren't a diversity hire? The problem with doing that, no one would have believed him. Cam Harris also accused the Bidens of undermining her during their time in the White House. From my understanding, it seemed like Cam was insinuating that the Bidens wanted all the spotlight, all the camera time, while she was expected to just fade into the background. Now, whether or not that's true, I don't know. What I do know is it can be dangerous to put Cam Harris in front of a camera, and it's damn sure dangerous if a microphone is included. At one point, Cam did try to defend her former boss. She claimed that his disastrous debate performance against Donald Trump was caused by exhaustion and not cognitive decline. Of course, no one believes that, but Cam did put forth a partial effort to defend Johnny B. What a disaster. It seems like Cam Harris is blaming Joe Biden for her huge embarrassing failure, which is always the case with deacons at Woke United Methodist. They want to blame everyone else for their own failure. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys tomorrow.